Well, American President Donald Trump seems worried about his next electoral battle. He has once again raised the prospect of cancelling the upcoming midterm elections. In an exclusive interview with Reuters, Trump cited the historical trend of incumbent presidents losing seats in the midterm elections. Donald Trump, remember, had claimed that he had achieved so much in the first year of his presidency that the U.S. shouldn't even have a midterm election. Trump added that the Republican Party would try very hard to win the polls. When asked about Donald Trump's comments, White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt said that the president wasn't serious while making those comments.
I was in that interview. It was a closed-door interview. Obviously, there was not audio or video. The president was simply joking. He was saying, we're doing such a great job. We're doing everything the American people thought. Maybe we should just keep rolling. But he was speaking facetiously.
Now remember, this is not the first time that Donald Trump has floated the idea of cancelling the midterms. He has made similar comments last week as well while addressing Republicans at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. Trump had even suggested that he would be impeached.
We don't win the midterms. It's just going to be, they'll find a reason to impeach me. I'll get impeached.
Last year, remember, during an Oval Office meeting with the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, Trump had voiced support for Ukraine's ban on elections under martial law. Back then, Trump had quipped that it would be a good thing if the U.S. were at war during his second term. So why the dread for the midterms? Well, historically, remember, incumbent American presidents almost always lose seats. Since 1934, only 2 presidents have been able to buck this trend. The first was Democratic President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who won 9 House and 9 Senate seats in 1934. The second was Republican President George W. Bush, who won 8 House seats and 2 Senate seats in 2002. Currently, the Republican Party enjoys a majority in the U.S. Congress. Of the 435 seats in the House of Representatives, the Republicans hold 218 seats, while the Democrats have 213. 4 seats are vacant. In the American Senate, Republicans hold 53 seats, while the Democrats have 45. 2 senators are independent. In the midterm polls in November this year, all 435 seats in the House of Representatives and 35 Senate seats will be up for grabs. The midterms will challenge the Republican Party's slender majority in the U.S. Congress. Losing control of either house will be a big boost to the Democrats, who have so far struggled to block Donald Trump's policy moves in the Congress. All right, let me welcome Professor Andrew Latham. He is a distinguished scholar of international relations, strategic studies and political economy, joining us on the broadcast at the moment. Good evening. Welcome, Dr. Latham. I want to start by asking you how you see Donald Trump's latest statement. You know, he's been making all of these statements as far as the midterms are concerned, sometimes saying that he'll be impeached if the Republicans lose, now saying that I've achieved so much that you don't need a midterm. Is this a joke, as Karoline Leavitt will have the world believe, or is it some sort of anxiety coming up about the kind of results that Republicans expect?
Well, I think it's both and. Clearly an offhand, somewhat facetious remark, but also revealing of an anxiety that these midterms are not going to go the way he would like. That most presidents, when they approach the midterms, if they're confident, they run on the results, they run on their record. If they're anxious, as he appears to be, they question the rules, even if facetiously. And if you question the rules, you raise questions about the outcome of those rules generate. So it's both a reflection of his anxiety around this upcoming midterm and also his attempt to sort of preemptively frame the outcome, which is going to be bad for the Republican Party by all accounts, in ways that minimize the hit, shall we say.
And so, Mr. Latham, you know, there have been statements where he's also said that during his second term and near to the midterms, U.S. should be at war, because historically that's always helped American presidents in getting the numbers up as far as approval ratings are concerned. Do you think this kind of a situation that prevails, with United States of America intervening in several different countries all at once, will help the Republicans in the midterms?
I don't think so. I think it's even fragmenting and fracturing his base, the MAGA base, which is not in favor of forever wars,
Yes.
and which part of which at least looks askance at his interventions in Venezuela and possibly in Iran and elsewhere, Greenland, for example. So I don't think it will help. Also, this is not post 9/11, which benefited the younger George Bush enormously. This is not the height of the Great Depression, which benefited FDR back in 1934. This is a different moment, and these wars are not galvanizing, they're polarizing. And they're even polarizing within the right on the American political spectrum, within the MAGA base. I don't think that his military adventurism is going to pay electoral dividends by any means.
And so do you think, Professor Latham, that, while Donald Trump has been stressing on the fact that he's different from Joe Biden, that the Republican Party and its policies have been different from earlier presidents, he's somehow resorted to the same kind of tactics that different American presidents have during election time?
Well, it's a very limited toolkit, and there's not a lot of tools in it. As I said, if they're confident and there's something going on the world stage that they can tap into, then they talk about their record. And if not, they're trying to minimize the damage, to frame the poor electoral prospects in a way that doesn't reflect badly on them, reflects badly on the system, reflects badly on their opponents, reflects badly on their own base if they're not mobilized sufficiently. That's been a long pattern in American politics because there's not much else they can do. Constitutionally, of course, he's not empowered to suspend these midterm elections. That's not within his remit, his purview. So all that he can do, anticipating a bad outcome, is to minimize the political impact of that bad outcome. And to do that, there are only so many arrows in the quiver, and that was true of Biden, true of Obama, true of every American president. There's only so much you can do.
All right, we'll leave it there. Professor Andrew Latham, let's wait and watch what happens in the next few months as far as Donald Trump and the party's, bid to win the midterms is concerned. Thank you very much for joining us at the moment on WION.
My pleasure.